So if you eat meat, and veggies, which never really went together in nature actually, and we've sort of plugged them together because it's the paleo thing, it's like we've lost the connection to nature and say, wait a minute, let's put this thing together logically.
All right, I'm honored to be here with Dr. John Douillard. America, which loves fads more than anything else, partially because media loves fads, and media needs clicks and attention, goes wild about gluten-free or paleo or CrossFit or yoga or whatever it is. There's always a flavor of the month. And my view on this is that fads are ridiculous and usually not about health. They're about people trying to make money. But beneath that, in the fad, there's a lot of good wisdom, and there's a reason the fad catches fire. So today I've asked John to tell us a bit about what's your view of paleo. Are there dangers about it? Are there good things about it?
I'm actually a fan of going back to ancient cultures and really understanding them. I think that is the most logical thing that we can do. And I think it makes a huge amount of sense. I just think that what happens is, like you said, the pendulum shifts to such an extreme state, we lose the logic of balance. There's a book out called The Story of the Human Body by Harvard researcher, Professor Daniel Lieberman. And it's a pretty thick, heavy read, but it talks about the current cutting edge research of anthropology and how we got here. And as much as the paleo folks say it was, we just ate meat and vegetables, according to the newest take on that, it's actually not true. They ate about 35% of their diet as starches, which is not really what paleo folks are saying. And it was in fact, when they did research on hunter gatherers today, the women who were the ones who actually kept us on this planet, because they were the ones who were out there gathering and digging up all the root vegetables. The men went out and they were hunters, and probably lousy hunters, and they would come back on a regular basis sort of empty-handed with their tail between their legs, and the wife would go, don't worry, I got this covered. Right. We dug up some roots, we're good. Just right. Sit in the back of the room and we'll take care of it. So the women were the ones who dug up the roots, which were the starches that allowed us to survive. And they have well-done studies now that show that hunter-gatherers, the women who ate most of the tubers, actually had microbes to digest tubers better, and the men who were the meat eaters, they had microbes to digest meat better. But the idea is that they were lousy hunters. Now, it's true that fats from animal proteins helped us, over the last couple of million years, increase our brain size 3 times. It was the animal fats that did that. It's hard to dispute that logic. But that didn't mean that we had meat 3 times a day. They never were good enough hunters.
Tons of meat whenever you hunted successfully, and then none for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Feast or famine.
Right.
So they captured or killed a woolly mammoth. They were eating woolly mammoth brains and eyeballs and livers for 3 days, and then maybe nothing for a month, right? And then we're back to eating up the roots again. So it was really that incredible balance. So I think, and then you think, okay, the logic of nature. In the winter, it's a high protein, high fat diet. In the spring, it's leafy green sprouts, berries, cherries, tubers. In the summer, fruits and vegetables. The diets change dramatically. So if you apply that to an ancient human, you're talking about, they probably had to hunt a lot more in the winter and got more protein and more fat in the winter. So but in the spring, they dug up more and ate more leafy greens. So the diet would dramatically change. So if you eat meat, and veggies, which never really went together in nature, actually, and we've sort of plugged them together because it's the paleo thing, it's like we've lost the connection to nature and say, wait a minute, let's put this thing together logically.
Right. So what you're saying is basically the cool part about paleo is it's actually looking to how we evolved and nature, but the true paleo diet probably would include a lot of what you just listed, more seasonally appropriate.
Totally changing seasonally.
And a true paleo person would eat 100% local, I would assume.
Right.
As well, which I don't think paleo people emphasize.
Right.
So if you want to be a hardcore real paleo, maybe shift it a little bit, and that might be healthier.
And I think we probably, instead of hunter-gatherers, I like to think of them as hunter-diggers, because we dug up most of our foods. Yeah. So it was, instead of, meat and veggies, how about, some meat that was emphasize that in the winter, and more tubers and vegetables in the spring and the summer. and get your protein fat reserves in the winter, and then eat more vegetarian in the spring and the summer and more protein and fat in the winter, that makes sense from a logical perspective, probably more inclined to what they did. But they also is hunter-gatherers had 100 grams of fiber in their diet per day. We get 15 to 20 grams of fiber in our diet per day. So they had 5 times the amount of fiber in their diet.
How'd they have so much?
Than eating all the tubers. That's the only place you get it.
Wow.
Right? And fiber takes bile, toxic bile, to the toilet. You don't have enough fiber in your diet. We're talking 15 grams to 100 grams, so we don't have any near what our genetics say we should have. Here's an interesting fact. 94% of the bile, which is carrying all kinds of toxins, gets reabsorbed back to your liver.
Ugh.
If you have enough fiber, that toxic bile goes to the toilet. So it's very important to think, how do we get our fiber? Well, that's from tubers. Those are starches which are not in today's paleo diet. It's a missing link.
Paleo folks are really reabsorbing all their own toxins.
I worry about that much meat and just having vegetables to buffer it. It's not really a balanced meal. But I think there's a lot of truth in the paleo diet. Sure. But I think when you look at the most current research, like this book I mentioned, they're talking that it wasn't just meat and veggies. It was way more diverse and way more seasonal.
Dr. John Douillard, thank you.